Good afternoon. It's Monday, the 22nd of August of 2022. I'm looking today at the theme of learning to trust our inner wisdom. I've been working with this a lot recently as I prepare for a workshop that I'm offering this coming Saturday, but it's also something that is at the very foundation of the way we live in the world and the way that we come back to trusting our own soul as the source of truth, as the source of guidance in our lives. It's natural that we've lost trust with that deepest being. Just about from the moment we take our first breath, we're being shaped and changed and shifted from just being absolutely instinct and intuition and flowing with life to learning that we have to fit in to the structures, the perspectives, the behaviors, the expectations of family, friends, school, community, world. So we come in open, just right with the flow of the universe. And very quickly, our family's way of coping with managing their lives starts teaching us that some things are all right and some things aren't. That there are behaviors that are acceptable and there are behaviors that aren't. That this is who you are. This is what we do. This is how we respond to these things. This is how emotions are dealt with in this family. And we become these instant students of exterior rules. The better we learn it, the smoother it goes. Now, we go through that nice developmental period when we're in our teens and early 20s where we're pushing back against all of that. But we're still in that continuous dialogue with the input from the outside world. We're still negotiating against those patterns that have now gotten set down so that they're so automatic we don't even think about them. They're just our survival mechanisms. You know, we just automatically go into a role, a way of being, a whole set of frameworks, very tight frameworks. It's almost as though our mind gets to know so quickly any little signal that we're at risk. And whether it's risk to our well-being, risk to our being accepted, it starts projecting out there so that we're always in this dialogue with not being quite safe, being just who we are. As we grow up, we fine-tune, we find our way, and eventually we find the people, the communities, the tribes, if you will, that we fit into. We all kind of see the world in the same way. We all have the same emotional ways of dealing with our emotions. We have the same kind of patterns of what it looks like to be angry, what it looks like to be sad. And we all have our own roles that have begun to mesh with each other so that if I'm a helper, I can find plenty of people to help. There is this wonderful thing that happens at some point in our lives where that all begins to fall apart. We hit a point of crisis. Maybe it's an illness, an accident, the end of a deep relationship, the end of a job, a move, Something takes us and shakes up everything in a way that leaves us in this place of not knowing who we are. Because all of a sudden, all of the ways that always worked in the past to navigate through life simply are not working anymore. I can't be who I've always been. I can't react in the same ways that I've always reacted. It's just not working anymore. And at that point, we were given the marvelous invitation to let it all go, to go into that kind of dark night of the ego, and to begin realizing that all of the learned patterns, all of the learned ways of being can be gradually deactivated. And that there is a whole team, a whole energy that is more mystical, more life, more connected with the sacredness of our own soul and that connection with all that's sacred. That's right here to begin helping us activate new ways of being that come much more from that trust of who we are inside. I invite you to explore in your own life if you're finding yourself in one of those places where the old ways simply are not working anymore. I know we can see it in the culture around us right now, that a lot of people are going through tremendous anxiety, frustration, anger, because in general, the world is not functioning in the way that they had learned it would function for the rest of their lives. Look and see if you're also going through that same process within yourself. And if you are being invited to let go of the old ideas of who you have to be safe and secure and whole in this life, so that you may discover that from your very first moment, you were perfect. You were whole. You were enough. You always have been and always will be worthy of this life. And as you let that begin to sink in, as you begin to feel that in your bones, you'll discover one of the primary pathways back to trusting, that deep and glorious wisdom that has always been within you, that will always speak to you of the truth, that will always affirm, empower, and honor the sacred being that you are. Have fun along this journey. I invite you to take this next step. I'm here as a companion, as one to listen, as one to maybe know a few of the signposts along the way that will help. I do one-on-one work. I'm doing a workshop this Saturday that still has space. And if you're listening to this sometime months or years down the road, I'm sure I'll be offering something more soon in the future. But let your trust come back to the one within you, the soul that came into this world at this time, in this place, in this form, with purpose. What a lovely thing. Thank you. I'll talk to you again soon.